Hello, Online Plus faculty. If you have reached the advanced stage, you have been doing virtual classes for a while, you have mastered Adobe Connect, and you're really trying to bring out your own personality in the virtual classroom sessions. And I have a couple different lists for you to check out and just sort of dabble in some new things. And I think that you will really just embrace those new pieces and start to treat this as if this is your second home in a virtual classroom. Let's take a peek at the preparation for virtual class in the advanced section. Really putting the technical how-tos and technical requirements into your syllabus, your welcome materials. You're really comfortable with how to instruct students to get in there. You've had some technical challenges probably yourself or seen some with students, and so you can share your experience there with your students. Repeats of some of the things from the intermediate level where you're providing them options for polling to when is the best time for them to attend your virtual class, sending the communication to them. I've actually added a video here, or you could create your own, that introduces your participants to Adobe Connect. It's just a simple instructional video that you can post so that the students know what it's like to attend Adobe Connect Classroom. This is one that I have created. Feel free to use it or take it up a notch and really introduce them to your own virtual classroom, because by this point you're probably creating your own layouts. You have a really nice fancy way of organizing your classroom. I think that it may be time for you to make your own recording as well. So consider those. You're probably to the stage now where you're trying to resolve those technical issues for your students just prior to the class start on your own. If not, the technical support team is there for the personal support, so make sure you're given that phone number as well. And then letting students know that coming in early, getting that audio setup wizard created is going to be really beneficial on all ends. I think it's time to get your webcam out. I think it's time to make sure you're using a headset and a webcam. If you're in a really quiet space, you may not need a headset, but to have really great audio quality, really great video quality, really allowing your students to see you and you projecting your personality, that webcam is something that you should put up. You don't have to look at yourself. I know that it's really scary to sort of put that up there in the beginning. You're worried about what they're going to think of you, but it's the same as if you were sitting in a residential classroom. So don't even pay attention to yourself and what things look like on there. Just get that up there and let them see you. Then you can get more comfortable with them using their own webcams. Maybe allow them to put that up at the start of a session so they can introduce themselves. Everybody can see who's there. Say hello, their kid's sitting on their lap or their dog is there, introduce their dog, anything to really just create that community of online learners. We all know that they're sitting at home or sitting at work. What better way to be able to see exactly where your students are at than letting them pop that webcam up just at the start of the session and then turn it off. Distractions can happen, all of those things, but have them turn it off at that point. Or if you're really bold, tell them to go ahead and leave it on. All right, now you can see we moved into an Adobe Connect classroom. I wanted to bring you actually into the Adobe Connect classroom to go over those advanced in-class activities. I've added a notes pod here and typed in some of the pieces that are included in the training so that you have those to look at, and we're going to hit on these ones that are in italics. Again, remember, when you're in class, we're focused on 3 different forms of interaction. We want to get students interacting with you as the faculty member, we want to get them interacting with each other, and then we want to get them interacting with content. And if you can hit on all of those, they're really going to have that engaging experience and the information is going to start to sink in. They're really going to be engaged in their learning, and it's just going to provide a much more well-rounded experience, and then you're going to bring them back next time, and they're going to want to keep coming back and interacting with you in these live classes. Let's take a look here at creating community among the participants by drawing attention to similarities and responses. By this point in time, you've seen chat conversation. You've asked questions. You've been able to see what happens, what types of responses students give to the questions that you ask. Now it's time for you to really start to pinpoint what it is that they're saying and relate those answers together. Just like you do in the online classroom and the discussion forum, you can do that in the virtual classroom as well, but it's live and they can start to see that. You can name names and you can start to pull them together so that maybe they create that bond, and that extends outside of the virtual classroom. So really start to try to push those students together so that while it's the faculty interaction, that also then doubles into student to student interaction, and they can start to have their conversations on their own. In the intermediate section, I talked about adding some icebreakers at the start of a session to really get the students interacting, getting them comfortable with chat conversation. What if you posted icebreaker questions in your online course somewhere so it got them excited about coming to class and talking about it? Posting some sort of what's your favorite vacation spot and you giving your answer, or posting a picture of your own favorite vacation spot. And then that gets them coming to class and really starting to think about, wow, this would be really fun to interact with this instructor. Adding personality wherever you can. And then let's think about calling on random students at this point. And maybe you're thinking that you're an advanced user by the end of the term, maybe week 4, week 5, because you've had great attendance in weeks 2 and 3. Getting into week 4 and week 5, you're starting to know your students. Midterms, you're thinking, all right, I can just call on these folks. I know them just a little bit from them attending some sessions, so now it's time to really call them out. And so picking their name to ask a specific question. You know who those leaders are in your online class. Those leaders are going to mimic in your virtual class as well. Or you may see some new leaders emerge, because what I have seen and what other faculty have seen is that they get more comfortable in the virtual classroom because it's still that anonymous chat. No one has to see their face. They're just sitting there in the comfort of their own home. They're not having to be in a physical classroom where their classmates are looking at them or judging them or however it is. It's just their name. So you may see new leaders emerge. Call on those students. Ask them specific questions. You'll see that they will really jump out and want to talk with you. You can do this by adding multiple chat pods. Let's go ahead and get up here and add a new chat. So we have, notice that I have, this is the chat for everyone here, and this is the main chat, and then I've added this one. Well, what if you change the name of these pods, double click on chat, and this is going to be for health science students. Maybe you teach a general education class, and so this is your health science discussion, and this is everybody else. And then you ask some sort of question of the health science students and have them respond here. And then you have everyone else respond here. And so you can separate out the different groups, ask them the same question, or you can ask them different questions so that you're able to capture that information. But having different chat pods, you can carry on different conversations, capture that, and then email yourself the chat. Remember, you can click on pod options, get all the options for that pod, and say email chat history. Immediately that email goes right up to you. It's just going to pop up in your inbox. So you have a record of that. You can post that in your class. Transcripts, it's right there. These are really great features, so start to use those. I'm going to change this back to main chat because that's what we'll see as we go forward. Now let's take a peek at different ways that they can interact with the content. By now you should be uploading all of your materials to Connect Central. All of this should be pre-designed ahead of time, getting presentation materials, having videos uploaded, everything there. Now it's time to start creating custom layouts. Remember, these are the defaults. I created a new layout down here. You can just sort of see different pieces are attached, but the easy way to create your layout, add the plus sign, create new blank. Maybe we're in week 7 now, and okay, blank canvas, start popping pods on here. What are some of the most important ones? Add that webcam, putting the video pod up there, moving it wherever you want to. I like it on the top left, or on the top right. Some people like it on the top left. Share pod, probably going to want to share some material, share your screen, put that here in the middle. Definitely want to have some sort of chat, so let's have the main chat box coming through. Notice that that conversation that I added in the previous layout came through. That's what we want to see. And that may be all that you want. Some people really like to have the attendees pod so you can see who's logged in all the time. Again, it's totally up to you. So you move these things around as you want, maybe shrink down so the chat's really small and your attendees list comes up here. I'm just hovering over the top, making these larger and smaller. Notice that that arrow comes up and you can make them as big or as small as you want. But now is the time to have everything just ready to go. Remember that you can move layouts in between where you click and hold on your layout, move it here. Notice on the right hand side of the screen that blue layout is being moved up. Nothing else has changed. Everything is still where we want it to be. Click on this one, go back, and here's my notes. But you're really going to design those specific learning activities. You know what is also really nice is that in a notes pod, you can catch spelling errors and correct those. So if you just have notes that you thought of off the top of your head, plop them in a notes pod. Allowing students to use that whiteboard function, also something really fun that they can do. Get in there and they can walk through some of the problems or ask questions or draw pictures. Auto promote participants to presenters. What that allows them to do is to do that interaction, and you don't even have to think about how to promote them. If you go under the meeting tab, click on Manage, Access and Entry, go over here to the side and select Auto Promote Participants to Presenters. Now we get a little blue box in the top right hand corner. Auto promotes everyone. If at any point you want to turn this off, turn it off. But what that does is allows your participants to serve as presenters just on this layout. Okay, I'm going to make myself a presenter so you can see that the layout bar went away. They can just interact on this screen. All right, and then I can go up and make myself host. Did you know you could do that too? You can change your own meeting role so you can see what it looks like as a student or a presenter. Pretty slick, right? And then finally, I was just going to suggest to start combining different types of polling questions. So let's head over to the polls layout. And maybe we're finished with your favorite color and you really wanted to see ask a short answer question and then combine things. Maybe it's study strategies. So let's change this to a short answer question. What is your favorite way to study? And then you open that poll up and now they can type in their answers and you'll get a bunch of answers come down through here in this list. Then you see this list and you're thinking, okay, I see a lot of people, and then we're going to turn this into a multiple choice question. What is your favorite way to study? So we see a lot of people coming up with flashcards. So you're down here typing this in. And then you see a lot of others coming up with being alone in the house. Maybe some people have music and they're saying that a lot. So you're seeing those short answers come up in one. You can be creating a poll on the other one. How cool is that? And then click open, and now we're going to get an actual poll and get those percentage results together so that they can now vote on those. Pretty slick. Something to think about. All right, let's go back to our notes, make sure we've covered all of those pieces in the in-class activities. I think that we have. So I've just sort of hit some of the high points. Lots of things that you can do, but really just start to push the limits of Adobe Connect. You'll be really amazed at how well it responds to your needs. And finally, we're back in the guide. Let's just talk briefly about what you can do at the end of class. Remember, we're recording everything. So now we want to make sure that the students understand that they're being recorded. Maybe we use a poll to allow them to accept the fact and they know that their responses are being recorded. Sometimes we have to go back and check on conversations that happen. We want students to be aware that their reactions and that their responses are being recorded. You definitely, again, I mentioned this in the intermediate training, I think it's really important for self-improvement is to look at the recording and really make some notes for yourself. Post additional notes in a mail message or announcements along with the file. Start to really even test out embedding a video file. Have some great lib answers, frequently asked questions that Library and Learning Center team has put together. If you don't know how to embed one, we have some of those questions there. Sending a recording to your manager or colleague, get some feedback from them. They'll really be honest for you. I think that that's a really great tool for making improvements for yourself. Looking at those poll results, creating a tracking tool of your own, because as we know, Adobe Connect does not allow for us to track who has watched the recording. So how can you integrate activities within the session that then you can track participation later? Have them submit questions to you via email, complete a worksheet, something like that. But start to think about how you can track recorded views. And then start to send personalized messages to who's attended the sessions, who's not attended, trying to connect them back and forth. You should be so proud of yourself at this level. If you are watching this video, you've really started to push the limit and really engaging with your students in the Adobe Connect platform in your virtual classroom sessions. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. Have a great day.